Okay, so let's see if we can get the slideshow working as well as loading from the file. Okay, so slideshow, I'm going to add a global variable, let slide index be assigned 0. So when the program starts, we start at position 0 in our array, which is po, right? Position 0 is po, the first object. Okay, then we need to add the previous and next buttons. We need to add event listeners to those. So document.getElementById, by ID, previous, add event listener, click, and we'll have a previous slide function, I guess. We'll do next, add event listener, click, and do a next slide function. Okay, I'm going to slide those into here. We got the character search, and then let's do function. Let's do next slide first, like so. So let's just increment and update index. So slide index plus plus, right? Because we want to go to the next slide. We got to check if we've gotten to the end of the array. So if slide index is equal to character array dot length, we know we've gone too far. So we'll reset slide index to 0. Okay, and then we need to update the page. So I will call this display character function, and the character object that I want will, I just need to look into my character array at position slide index. Right, so character array right here at slide index, whether it's 0 or 1 or 2, will pass that object into here, and the object will be used to display the image and the name and the quote and all that good stuff that it has. Okay, that's pretty easy, as long as it works. Previous slide. Oh yeah, okay. So why don't we quickly do that? It's just complaining because I defined this previous slide here, but I haven't actually done it yet. Let's do it quickly and we'll test both of them. Actually, I'm going to copy and paste this. It's similar but different, right? Because we need to decrement if the slide index equals -1, right? I've gone to the left, so I've gone past 0. And we want slide index to be character array dot length -1, which is the last element. So that should loop around, and then this should do the same thing, right? Update the index, and then display the character at that index. Let's see if that works. Tigress, mantis, monkey, crane. Okay, it's a little annoying how this jumps. It probably should have had a fixed height, or all these should be the same size or something, but whatever, that's okay. Shifu, Oogway, Mr. Ping, Tai Lung, and then back to Po, and back to Tai Lung. Awesome. And the search should still work. Mantis, mantis. Oh, but this will not work now because my index does not get updated. So when I do the search, where is that? Character search right here. What I should do is, if it's question mark, ooh, that's interesting. If I can't find it in the search, I display the question mark. Should I change the, I don't know. Okay, let's just do this though. Slide index is assigned character index. Right, we want to update, when we search and we jump to this character that we found, right, we want to set the slide index to that too. So now I should be able to go to mantis, and after mantis should come monkey. Awesome. Okay, so the search doesn't mess up our slide. They work together now. Okay, let's leave that alone. So that's the power of this array, right? The array is our ordered collection, which allows us to do that slideshow, and then the object allows us to store all that different information in there. Okay, let's look at loading from a file. So if we go to here, create arrays, we can create arrays from a file using that fetch. And maybe I'll use this shorter, the arrow notation, anonymous arrow functions. We'll see how that goes. Okay, copy. And let's keep it in our character array. Why not? I think I can still do this. Oh, but, okay. So the weird thing with this fetch and the .then and .then is that once this fetch is called, the function will actually continue and return, right? And I'm just going to comment all this out for now. Could delete it, but we'll just comment it out for now. And I can't actually, I have to wait for the stuff to load and convert, right? I can't return and store it inside of here like I did this. So what I need to do is I'm going to let character array just declare it as a global variable, and then I'll call the function called create character array. And that create character array will do the fetch, and I want to fetch the file called character data.txt, right, which is this file right here. Each character has its own line. That text file will get transferred to raw data, which will then convert into text. And then that'll get stored into this data variable, and we'll split it by /r/n. And here, you know what, I'm going to add a curly brace here because I want to do a multi-line function here. I'm going to do more than just this. So I'm going to do, let's just go let temp be assigned data.split console.log temp. And let's just see what that looks like. Okay. So we go to here. All right, here it is. So when we split it by line, each element in the array is one line from the file. Okay, that's pretty cool. But what I want is I need to break each line up into, I want the string to be an object basically, right? Okay, so let's see how we can do that. I'm going to loop for let I be 0, I is less than temp.length, I++, and I'm going to take each string. So, sorry, I just got to think here. We've got to make sure we manage this data properly. So, I think what I'd like, oh, here let's do this. Let's initialize our character array into an empty array. And I'm going to create objects and push them into there. Okay, so now let's have in here, why is my tab being weird? Oh, there we go. Actually, I'm going to hit Shift-Alt-F. There we go. Okay, let's do let character. All right, let's go let temp. I just don't know what to call this. Because what I want to do is I want to take temp at position 0. And actually, I don't even like the word temp. Let's do this again. Let's call this my line array, because this is the array of lines. And then let's do this. Let line be assigned line array at position I, right? Because I'm going to loop through my line array, right? Because I have this array of lines, which we saw right here, right? An array of lines. So this right here, line array I, is a string, and I want to split that by semicolons. Semicolons are the dividers between those different elements. Okay, so, and actually let's call this lines. And I want this to be my line array, because it's actually an array with all the data for that line. And then what I can do is I can create an object. I can go my global character array dot push, and I'm going to push an object where the name is line array at position 0, comma, quote is line array, get that thing away, line array at position 1, and then seriously this little tooltip. And then after the quote was the image file, which will be line array at position 2, and then wiki name, which will be line array at position 3. Okay, so this line array, maybe we should quickly look at that actually. Console.log line array, just so we know what that line array looks like. Okay, so the line array is this array that's split up into the name, quote, image file, and then the wiki name. Okay, that's awesome. And then that's why I'm looking at line array 0, line array 1, line array 2, line array 3, and storing those into that object with these keys, key names, property names. Okay, that is exciting. Maybe a little complicated, but just a quick, so we fetch this data file, it then converts it into text, and this is now one big string of the text file. We then split that big string of the text file by carriage return a new line. So my lines are now this array of lines. And then for each of the lines, I take that line and split it by semicolons to get a line array. And that has all my information, the name and the quote and the image file and the wiki name, which I create into an object, and I push, get rid of that, and I push that into my character array, which was initialized as an empty array, which we're now adding these objects. And then it'll loop again, right? Let's add a comment here, loop through lines, and add to character array. Right, so for each line, we split that line, and then we get the data and put it into an object that we add to our character array. Woo! Okay, hopefully that works. Let's go here. I don't see any error messages. If I go next, it looks like it's doing stuff. Okay, that's awesome. If I look at my character array, right, it is that array of objects. Okay, just a lot nicer loading it from file, right? Instead of having to do all of this, we had this this loop that we could do. Okay, and I don't know if I even like the arrow functions here. We almost should have, just to clean this up. You know what? I'm tempted to do that. Let's do process data, and that'll end that function. And then I'll have a function called process data that'll have the data like that. And then that'll be all of this stuff. I just think that's a little easier to read, right? Create the character array. So we're going to fetch this file, we're going to convert the raw data to text, and then we're going to process that text data. So here's our text data, we're going to split it into the lines, we're going to loop through the lines, and add to the character array. Yeah, I think that's a little cleaner. Okay, so then we don't need this anymore, which is awesome. I see an error here, okay, it's because I was changing things. Let's make sure that still works. Next, 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 good. Shifu, search, awesome. Okay, all right, hopefully you can see that there's so much we can do with this now, right? Storing arrays of data, searching for them, looping through them, there's all sorts of stuff we can do, okay? All right, hope you had fun with this, hope it made sense, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.